Okay, boys and girls, yesterday we learned how to find common denominators for two fractions. So let's write this out, common denominators. So let's review. If you have 2/3 and 3/4, and I want to find a common denominator, remember you're going to take your two denominators, 3 and 4, and you're going to find the least common multiple. Remember the first one they have in common, the least. So we're going to start with 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 5 is 15. Then I'm going to do 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. And I look for one that they have in common. And I see that they both have a 12. And that's the first one and the only one in this list that they have in common. So now I have to take the 12 and I have to change both of my fractions into something over 12. So I've got 2/3 equals something over 12, and 3/4 equals something over 12. So I'm going from from a small denominator to a big denominator. So remember, if you're going from a small denominator to a big denominator, you have to multiply. So I think to myself, 3 times what is 12? 3 times 4. So if they're multiplying by 4 on the bottom, I have to multiply by 4 on the top. 2 times 4 is 8. So 2/3 and 8/12 are equivalent fractions. I'm going to do the same thing for 3/4. 4 times what is 12? 4 times 3. So if they multiplied by 3 at the bottom, I'm going to multiply by 3 at the top, and 3 times 3 is 9. So 3/4 and 9/12 are equivalent fractions. So now I have two fractions, 8/12 and 9/12, with the same denominator of 12. Let's do one more example. Let's say I have 1/4 and 5/8. And I want to find a common denominator for our two fractions. Remember, you take your two denominators, 4 and 8, and you want to find the LCM. So I'm going to start with 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. 8. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 5 is 40. So I look for the first one that they have in common, and that is 8. So 8 is my least common multiple. So now I have to change both of my fractions into something over 8. 1/4 equals something over 8, and 5/8 equals something over 8. So I think to myself, again, I'm going from a small number to a big number. 4 times what is 8? 2. So if they multiply by 2 at the bottom, I multiply by 2 at the top. 1 times 2 is 2. Well, I see over here, 5/8 is already in 8s. So I either can just leave it as 5/8, or I can go through the whole process of 8 times 1 is 8, and 5 times 1 is 5, and 5/8 doesn't change because it's already in 8s. So my two fractions are 2/8 and 5/8. Now I want you to try a set of fractions. I want you to find the common denominator for 5/6 and 3/8. So what I want you to do right now is to pause the video and work this problem out and then come back to the video to check their answers. Pause the video now. All right, so now that you've worked your problem out, remember you start with your 6 and your 8, and you're going to find the LCM of 6 and 8. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 5 is 30. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 4 is 32. And 8 times 5 is 40. So I see the one that they have in common is, let's see, 6, 12, 18, 24. So 24 becomes my new denominator. So I'm going to change both of my fractions into something over 24. So I've got 5/6 equals something over 24, and 3/8 equals something over 24. So 6 times 4 is 24. 5 times 4 is 20. 8 times 3 is 24. 3 times 3 is 9. So my two new fractions are 20 24ths and 9 24ths. All right, I'm going to assign you a couple of problems to work on, and after you complete the problems, I want you to bring them to me so that I can check your work. All right, the first one is 1/3 and 2/7. The second one is 4/5 and 3/20. The third one is 3/8 and 5/12. And the last one is, let's say, 3/7, and let's do a tricky one. Let's do 5/6. All right, boys and girls, after you finish the 4 problems, I want you to bring them up to me so that I can check. Good luck.